First off, we did want to react to a little bit of this pretty spicy Bill Maher clip. This was a recent overtime segment featuring some of my favorites, James Carville, Dan Crenshaw, and Caitlin Collins. No, I'm just kidding. The only one of those I like is James Carville, who I have grown somewhat fond of just because he's such a crazy mother. You can never really predict what's going to come out of the dude's mouth. And he certainly has his own unique sort of swagger and personality, even though he is undeniably a Clinton Democrat, right? But anyway, this made for an interesting panel discussion. They get into specifically the debates upcoming and what Trump really needs to do to turn around the lack of momentum, I guess, he's currently experiencing. So, yeah, do you have any comments about this one, Zach, before we get started?
No, I'm excited to drink the coke, drink the tears of the right wing. Like, this is one of the few times where you actually get to get on board with a guy like James Carville, right? When he's throwing the gauntlet down, when he's getting all worked up and spinning his wheels, and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is the time that we're going to crumple up Donald Trump, throw it away. So I haven't watched this clip yet, but I'm familiar with the work of James Carville, obviously. Yeah. Excited to see what he has to say.
Yeah, we got to find that James Carville tampon Tim clip too. That's one of the funniest. That's one of the funniest videos from recently. I'm gonna find that and surprise you guys with it. Like, oh no, I found it. We're gonna have to watch this before we start the real-time segment because it's worth it, guys. Trust me. This was James Carville recently responding to the tampon Tim talking points.
Governor Tim has called them weird, and that doesn't nearly describe this. So I have a message to Jesse and of the whole freak show is, why don't you take a tampon and shove it right up your ass? Because that's where it goes, right up your ass. You could stick it in your mouth, and maybe you could take a used one and stick it in your mouth and suck on it. Because that's what you do. You suck. Thank you, and good night.
Wow. Is that his YouTube show or something like that? Does he have like a YouTube?
I think it was Carville from a Politicon thing.
Interesting.
I'm not really sure. But Republicans were trying to dunk on him the other day for that. And I was like, that clip's kind of a banger. Why would...
Hey, what you do? You shove it up your ass and you suck on your suck. Can we just take one moment to appreciate the fine people of New Orleans for their home interior decorating? I really enjoy how, no matter how corporatized, no matter how homogenized all the greater American cities get, New Orleans, it stays New Orleans.
It does, bro.
And when you're watching that guy's background, this is James Carville, a Clinton Democrat, right? But inside his house, that's a home. Yep. You know what I mean? It's bright, it's colorful. It reminds me of Nathan Robinson. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's the Raging Cajun, bro. That's what they call him. Anyway, let's check it out. James Carville versus Dan Crenshaw and Caitlin Collins, or I guess James Carville and Caitlin Collins and Bill Maher versus Dan Crenshaw for the most part. Let's take a look. Seemingly no one likes Dan Crenshaw anymore. The one right winger in our chat even said they hate Dan Crenshaw. So not really sure who his constituency is.
He's got to get back on Rogan and get back into the good graces of all of them.
Yeah, true.
Most quants say we have to win by 3 in the popular vote to win the Electoral College. So when you see a poll that says we 2 up, well, that's actually you're 1 down if the poll is correct.
Yeah, you lose.
The other thing is Trump traditionally, when he's on the ballot, chronically underpolls. All right? And so they came back late in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania in 2020, and it showed Biden winning these states 7, 8
under
points.
polls, meaning Trump's going to do better than the polling shows?
I'm saying
because
traditionally, he underpolls. Traditionally.
Means he's going to do better in the election because people are too ashamed to tell a pollster they're going to vote
saying,
for.
I don't know,
right.
But I'm just saying traditionally, with Trump on the ballot, just telling the Democrats, they said, oh, James and Debbie down.
How old is
What's
James
he talking about? Well, I'm not just telling you. You got to...
Like in his late 60s or early 70s.
I like how he just doesn't give a fuck that Bill Maher is actually trying to do his job as the host and get some clarity. He's like, James, most people aren't in the system like you are. So he's underperformed. Do you mean he's going to do better or worse? People don't know what the fuck you're saying, James. You already have an accent that's kind of thick and different. And we're just getting some clarity. And he's like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying historically. Okay?
He's like, I don't know. I'm just saying what I think, bro. I don't fucking
79. Yeah, exactly. Everybody in this country gets a fucking platform. It's an octogenarian. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, to be fair, this dude is partially responsible for Bill Clinton, winning. So he did at least at one point know what he was talking about.
I mean, he probably came up with it's the economy, stupid. Like,
I think
we don't
so.
know.
Yeah, I think so. Him and Stephanopoulos, right?
Yeah, that's how those guys built their whole careers.
Yep.
Left me.
Yeah.
3. And I think we can get there. I think the debate
So-
on September 10th is going to be so consequential, and it's going to have an audience that we can't believe, because what does America love?
Also, I'm interested in your opinion, Zach. Do you think the debate's going to be massively consequential, or do you think most Americans have already kind of made up their mind on like how they feel about Donald Trump? Do you think Kamala really will need to prove herself in a setting like that? Do you think a real collapse could happen because of her performance? What do you think?
I think that debates matter for certain reasons, right? When we saw Donald Trump go out and perform, when we saw Joe Biden go out and perform so miserably against Donald Trump, that mattered.
Yeah.
Because people saw, oh my
Clearly.
God, he is incapable of doing it. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, for sure. People went out and saw that, and we were like, guys, we're all gonna be having 4 more years of Donald Trump. We cannot let this happen. Joe Biden is physically, cognitively incapable of running for president. It has to be stopped. However, Kamala Harris, we just saw her speak. We just saw her say exactly what she's going to say in all those debate moments. And we just debated yesterday whether or not, any of that was going to have any impact, right? We kind of settled on no, but it was frustrating, right?
Mhm.
I think that that's what's going to happen in the debates. She's going to demonstrate that she's clearly able to run circles around Donald Trump. She's going to girl boss him. She's going to, I'm the prosecutor, you're the, perpetrator kind of line. And Donald Trump is going to obfuscate, and he's going to, say a bunch of weird, wacky shit. So if anything, I think the only outcome is that it hurts Trump. I'm really struggling to think of an outcome where the debates hurt Kamala at all, because even if she does just go out there and be her girl boss neoliberal self, I think that's just a far better sales pitch to to most Americans, right? To the suburban swing voters, to anybody who just wants to see Donald Trump, kind of finished in American politics.
Yeah, I think that's actually right, and I think that Trump really only does that well in debates against people that the Americans already hate.
Yep.
Like a Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and
Hillary
Hillary
Clinton.
Clinton.
Yep.
People that just kind of exemplify and personify the establishment, and then Americans at home can sort of project their own politics onto Trump and take joy in watching him take a shit all over the civility, and they can just kind of enjoy it vicariously, like watching a scene in a movie where the main character quits his job and tells his boss to go fuck himself. You're like, I wish I could do that. It gives you some catharsis, right? In the same way, it was nice watching even for me, it was nice watching Donald Trump bully around Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and low energy Jeb. It was hilarious, right? The difference is, for the most part, at least in the current moment, people do like Kamala Harris. They are embracing Kamala Harris, and they are projecting onto her what they want out of American politics instead of the other way around. So I do agree he's going to find a unique foil in Kamala Harris. And even though she absolutely is a total manifestation of establishment Democratic neoliberal politics, as we know, like I said, I just don't think the American people is sick enough of her yet to view her that way. They still think of her as a up and coming fresh face, new phase, new era for American politics, unlike Donald Trump, who had his turn and completely failed to make America great again.
100%. It's the fact that she is young and she's new and she's never fucked up the job before. That's what we want. We want to see somebody that hasn't ever had the job before. And I popped into Afterward for a second today, and I ran into one of my coworkers who was like really rah, like, let's talk about politics kind of a guy. And I just think when you talk to somebody who went from being like absolutely not at all interested in politics to now being like, I want to talk to you about this every single time I see you because I know you also want to talk about politics, that's a vibe shift. And in Missouri, if you're getting the vibe shift from somebody who absolutely hated Joe Biden and absolutely hated Donald Trump and is now really excited to see Kamala and Tim Walz because they think it's the end of the Trump era, they think it's a return to some sort of normalcy. People are very excited in the Midwest about the $25,000 that you can get to put down for a house. Okay. Yep. These are the things that really matter. Also, the cap on grocery prices. These are things that I'm hearing about on the street. And I think that Donald Trump just won't have a message for that. If his message is, well, actually, no, the polling are wrong. We're doing fantastic. You're actually, it's Kamala that's failing. We're doing great. Everything's fantastic. Like, that's not the American people don't care about that. They don't want to see him go to Georgia and call out the governor for not helping him steal the election. That's not a kitchen table issue.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that everyone just underestimated Kamala. Like my grandfather, who was the biggest Joe Biden fan ever, a true Biden dead-ender, as they say, thoroughly convinced that Kamala wouldn't be possible for Kamala to take down Trump. He was like, Gavin, this is insane. She's optimistic. She's joyful. She's inspired. She's charismatic. Like it's just a completely different vibe. And even people who were totally doubtful have, I think, come to see the light. And they know that Donald Trump is shitting his pants. They know that Donald Trump wants Joe Biden to be the nominee again so bad that he's unable to adjust.
Have you been watching his Truth Socials? It's fucking crazy. But we could play some more of this.
Yeah, let's watch some more of this. We can pull up Truth Social or his, Truth Social Twitter account, whatever the hell it is. Let's take a look at the rest of this, though.
Train wreck. And they had one on June the 27th. And they want another train wreck.
I agree on that. Do you guys have that debate?
It's ABC debate.
ABC debate.
If it happens, I still think it's an open question of
Really?
whether or not it happens.
Trump's going to go. He's got to.
You think that Trump is going to pull out?
I think Trump is nervous about it. I think I talked to a lot of sources in his
Carville
world.
is smart.
I think
He's
he
right,
has really
100%.
struggled with it. It's not just a narrative or a talking point from Democrats. He really has struggled with how to combat her. And I think.
Also, did you know that Caitlin Collins used to work at like the Daily Caller or whatever?
No, I don't know who the fuck this lady is.
She's like a pretty popular, just liberal CNN anchor. She's one of the most popular CNN anchors, but apparently she used to be a huge right winger, came from the Daily Caller, and then just totally switched to become a normie Democrat.
Hey, whenever the phone's not ringing and you can get a show on MSNBC, I hear you.
Going into that debate, he does not really want to do it. I think it's difficult, if not impossible, for him to pull out because his campaign manager had cards printed that said anywhere, anytime, any place for President Biden, and it would look weak. But I don't think he's looking forward to it at this point.
No.
I think the specter of September 18th is driving him crazy. He's going to have to sit in that courtroom, and that judge is going to lecture him. Now, I don't know if he's going to have jail time, but there's going to be some imposition on his liberty. I don't know what it is, and those judges have sentencing options that are multitudinous. They can do a lot of different creative things. But he knows that's coming. He knows September 10th is coming. There's no way that he can get out of it, Caitlin. I don't think. I mean, I would be happy if he did, but he kind of needs to debate now. He needs it as much as she does.
Right, he does.
And so instinctively,
he needs it more than she does.
The candidate that doesn't want to debate is the one that doesn't need it. The one that needs it wants to debate. So we'll make a friendly bet. I think it goes off.
He's going to shit the bed.
He does.
You know this. I mean, he does not do well with women.
Look,
he just does.
I would, whether he does the debate or not, I don't know. I'm not a political pundit trying to analyze this stuff. But I do know.
Why are
that
you
it's
coming
a
on the
very
show?
easy debate to win. So all you have to say is, look, you had 4 years, I had 4 years. When I was president,
She did not have 4 years. He was president. She was not. This guy doesn't even know who the president is. This is all they can find to the backwater hillbillies to come out fucking from, I don't know where the hell in Texas, West Texas. This guy's from. Bring him out to the big California studio, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Kamala Harris was president for 4 years." No, he wasn't. No, she wasn't.
Right. Yeah, that's such a dumb line, and it's just proof the Republicans have nothing real to attack Kamala with. All they have is to try to attach her to Biden and pretend like everything that they were gonna run against Biden, they can now just switch out Kamala and everyone will fall for it. Like, no, people aren't stupid. They understand that the vice president is not the president. The vice president does not have the same amount of power or influence or control. I mean, we all found that out when Donald Trump threw Mike Pence under the bus real quick. Clearly, they weren't on the same page. So it's very possible that Kamala has a different vision for the country than Biden, that she differs from Biden on policy. And the American people understand that. Even if it turns out to not be true, maybe Kamala is exactly the same as Joe Biden. That is possible. But the American people still are willing to give her more benefit of the doubt because they understand that the vice president and the president are not the same thing.
Yep.
and when you were president, here's the differences. Gas prices are up 50% when you're vice president. Electricity prices up 30%. Grocery up 22%. The list keeps going. Taxes were lower under Trump. They raised them under Biden and Harris. Regulations were lower under Trump. They raised them under Biden and Harris. Immigration numbers way down. They actually tried to stop the problem. record numbers under Biden and Harris. This is a very easy debate to win because on the metrics, it's very easy to show side by side.
Okay,
but that's what his campaign wants him to say. But Donald Trump it's not a campaign where you just give him his talking points and he goes out there and delivers them.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump is his own biggest impediment. His own campaign will tell you that. I mean, he's questioning whether or not her race and whether or not she's actually black at an event with black journalists. It's stuff like that his campaign is, watching in real time and knowing he's their own biggest liability.
And also, if I may say,
I like how they just applause for anything, but she just made a point. She didn't say something inspiring, but they're like, woohoo!
I mean, you're sure of yourself. You present these issues as if it's, a slam dunk. Less regulations. Well, some regulations are good.
Some are good, but 10 more.
Some are bad. Believe me, I live in California. I know.
We have a lot. It's I oversee the EPA on my subcommittee. One regulation can be good. Clean air, good. All of it, good.
And I have a lot of friends who are Republicans that kind of believe in lighter touch regulation, maybe a few less taxes, kind of slightly nationalistic. If I'm one of you,
slightly national,
I want Trump to get beat bad. I mean, I'm talking about a 64-72 wipeout. You know what happened after Republicans got wiped out in 64? They won in 68. You know what happened after the Democrats got wiped out in 72? They won in 76. If Harris gets 280 electoral votes, your party is fucked because he's stuck with them the whole time. They're not going anywhere. You want to wipe out.
What I want most of all is for my daughter to grow up in a place where she can start her own business more easily, where she's not competing against men on a swimming team or in a wrestling match. That's what I.
Oh, well, those are the two things he's worried about in America. Great, dude. You check those boxes. You can retire from politics now.
Yeah. Also, are you kidding me? Your daughter isn't going to be able to start a business. She's the daughter of a freaking United States representative, Dan Crenshaw. I'm pretty sure we all know she's going to be fine. She's a Nepo baby. She's going to be fine. I'm sure she can, have her career fast tracked by you and all your establishment buddies.
Until Kamala rounds them all up and puts them into camp for trying to, pursue capitalism.
Yeah. Is his daughter even an athlete, by the way? Do we even know if that's a possibility for her?
They're all athletes.
Competing against
take that away from them.
Trans people. Oh my God.
Making them compete against grown men. I heard it was a 35-year-old man on the 4th grade swim team. I swear to God, I heard it.
Anyway, pretty funny stuff. I figure we can, that's most of what I wanted to react to at least.